Hello, everyone. Sorry to do the schedule, but it's a warm-up on Thursday this week. But if you can't make today, then you can always watch it back later on. For those of you that are here, please do say hello and that you can hear me, and then we can get going with a bit of warming up. Today I'm in my bedroom with my nice Van Gogh. It's not original. It's very much a fake, but it's a nice sunny image. Weather's not too sunny here. Okay, so if you can hear me, just say hello. That would be very helpful. And as always, you can get the handouts on my website, rsmusic.net/flute warm-ups. So today we're looking at the Moyse de la Sonorite, or Sonority, and I've just created a few exercises. Hi Rachel, okay, great. Yeah, so I just created a few exercises based on that, and Rachel, you actually asked about Vidor Suite, and I was looking at that and noticed that the Vidor Suite has octaves, quite a lot of octaves, especially in the scherzo, and in the Romance, there's this upbeat figure. So I feel like Moyse Sonority actually is a really good template to practice the Vidor suite, or at least to warm up with it. So yeah, I transform this more into a sonority warm up. So the first one that I like to do is actually to just adapt the sonority exercise by including octaves. And according to Wib, that was actually the original exercise, because Moyse heard a singer warming up, and apparently years later, it was just that he couldn't hear the lower octave of that singer because he was on a different part of the train. So actually, to practice it with octaves is really useful. So we're going to do that. The first thing I'd like to do, though, is just with breathing, just two things that I'd like you to be aware of as we play today. The first is having a sense of smell when you breathe in. And the reason for this is to encourage, because the olfactory nerves are at the top, like the soft palate sort of area up here, to breathe in and feel like you're thinking a smell, then it's encouraging the air to go up there and create more space. And so your sound will open up and sound more beautiful. So that's one thing, is try to think of a nice smell. So like roses or whatever, all the way through this warm up. See if you can keep that as a thing in your mind. The other one is just to be aware of your head, neck and back relationship. And something that I was reading was that you've got about 10 to 12 pounds of weight with the head as it is now. If you start to bring your head forward, it gets heavier and heavier. So it gets up to like 60 pounds if it's all the way forward here. And so that's how much pressure it's putting on your neck. So I just want you to be aware of those two things all the way through the warm up, and see what that does to your playing. Okay, and just before we start, we're going to do a little bit of breathing and keeping your hands on your side. We're just going to do breathing in for 4 beats through the nose. So try to think of that nice smell. And then blowing out let's start with 8. Okay, so we're going to breathe in and then out for 8. Really feel the sides where your ribs are. Just spring, sorry, spring open. And again, breathing out for 8. Okay, and then let's go to our flutes, and we're going to start with this nice octave. So we're going to do minims, B, octave B, and then a semi-breve or whole note B flat. So it will sound like. And see if you can think of the phrase going towards that second bar, the B flat in this case. So really connect the octave, feel your airspeed increasing, the direction going up, and then crescendo from that higher B to the B flat. So we really phrase forward. And then when you get to the B flat, a little diminuendo at the end, just to finish the note nicely. Okay, so let's try that. And we'll just go down chromatically as they do in the Sonority book. Let's go 1. See if you can keep this open feeling as you're playing as well. So as you breathe in, you feel open up the top of the soft palate, and you keep that quality. Let's keep going from E. This will be the last octave. And just keep going down chromatically. Okay, so that should have helped with the real evenness of sound and also this sense of phrasing all the time. Um, Now, the next little thing that I like to do is pitch bending within these chromatics. And the next exercise in the Sonority book is this crescendo decrescendo exercise. So it's really good at knowing how to grade your crescendos, not just do it all at the beginning or at the end, but really gradual. And it takes a lot of practice and control. Um, and he writes it out in his own notes. But I think it's easy just to start with B, to go to a B flat, then an A, and back to B flat. But first, I want to do just B and pitch bend down a semitone and back to B. So it'll be like this. So just test that you got the semitone. Okay, so we'll do pitch bending from B, and we'll just keep going down like we just did, and testing that. I'll pitch bend on B flat. Same thing on an A. And let's do a G sharp as well. So I find that doing pitch bending like that, it's really good as a sort of quick way to warm up the embouchure and get it really sort of supple because we need to use our lips in a very subtle way. But this just kind of warms everything up and you start to find the focus of your sound. So where you get back to that middle core of your sound, then you find that the sound just rings a lot more easily. If you have any questions as we go, feel free to pop it in the chat or in the comments if you're watching this later, and I can answer them in another video. So let's do the crescendo decrescendo now. So we'll start with B, go to B flat, A, and back to B flat, crescendo to A, and diminuendo as you go through B flat. So each note 4 beats long. Okay, so I'll just show you one. So that's the pitch bending will help with this because we have to go down as we crescendo, but aim the air down. And then as we diminuendo, aim it back up again. So let's try that together, starting on B. Ready, 1, 2. B flat. A. A flat. Next one. Now, as you get lower, don't be tempted to bring the head down. Just relax the jaw a little bit more to aim the air down. So we're on F sharp. And F. And let's do one more, E. Good. Now, at the beginning, I said try to be aware of a nice smell as you breathe in. Now, when you do that through the mouth, of course, that's not possible. But when you have the chance to breathe through your nose, give yourself enough time to allow the air in and see if you can get that nice scent and really help to lift the soft palate. Okay, a little change of pace. We're going to do a little finger workout that I just thought about practicing Peter and the Wolf or anything like that, where you've got alternating thirds and then passing notes as well. So this is a good way of just mixing up your scale practice. Just do some of your own variations, but this is one that I just had a little quick think of. Let's start on a G, and what we're going to do is stepwise, as it's in the handouts, three beats of stepwise up and down. And then on the last beat, we do thirds, back and down. Okay, and then you go on to the next one. Okay, so da da dee da dee 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 da da dee da da dee da dee dum. Let's try all of that on a G major 1 octave scale. And when you come back down, it's the same thing, but we're just coming down. And then when you get to the end, do a nice little arpeggio with your best singing sound. Something just to finish off the whole scale. Okay, so if that sounds complicated, just have a look at the handouts. It's not actually too bad. And maybe just have a listen to this one, and then we'll do it again, just to get used to it. So let's start a little bit slower. Da da dee da 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 da. 1, 2. Then come down. Okay, so I hope you followed that. So it's just a nice little melodic scale practice. One thing I wanted to mention as well is thinking just 3 notes like da da dee da dum, If you tried to sing that and just feel how you um, have to use enough energy to get you up and down the scale. Sometimes we just move our fingers and don't really think about going up and down with our airspeed. So just feel there's a little movement, and you can feel it in your stomach area there. Just a little bit of pressure as you go up the scale, and then relax a little bit as you come back down. So have a sense of that when you play as well. So it's not just waggle your fingers, but really connect the sound. Okay, so let's try it at that speed so we get a little bit more momentum. Same scale, let's just stick with G, and then you can practice it in different keys on another day. Ready? Let's go. Okay, so I was trying to breathe more or less, so we kept it going. But if you need to take more time to breathe, and I would probably, when I practice this on my own, I would take a bit longer so it's not rushed. But I just wanted to keep it moving. So when you need to breathe, just take your time. Don't stress yourself out. Shall we just try it for fun in another key? Let's do it in A flat major. Let's just go up a semitone. Ready? 1, 2. And come down. Okay, so just put myself a little bit under pressure there to do it in a different key, but do it at your own pace, and I need to practice that one. Okay, so next and the last exercise is going back to the sonority, but this time going up your chromatics. And we're going to start with the higher B, and we're going to use harmonics and to find resonance, airspeed, direction. And the good thing about notes from B upwards is that they have harmonics more than one. So for example, I've written there, you do your octave B, and then you play a lower E, and if you've got a B foot joint, you can play a low B, and you're going to get the same note at the top. And so the goal there is to change the fingers to the harmonics, but to keep the sound of the high B going. So I'll just show you what I mean. So you start with an octave. Okay, so try all of that. And if the pitch is slightly different as you get, especially as you get higher, don't be too concerned because it will change. Don't try and adjust too much as you go. Just try and keep that nice, beautiful top note going all the way through. And later on, we're going to add a little challenge of trying to sing your fingered notes, but we'll get to that in a minute. So let's first of all just go. So B is a harmonic of E and low B. So let's try that together. Okay, next one. C is a harmonic of lower F and low C. Let's try that. So octaves. And F sharp and C sharp for C sharps. Now D is G and D. And E flat. So that's going to be A flat and E flat. And let's do one more. This is going to be middle at the higher E, played with an A and an E. See that one, the pitch does vary quite a bit, and on different flutes and where your head joint is and all this stuff. But just focus for now on getting that nice air speed and direction for all those top. What we don't want, therefore, is the note to drop or change as you change your finger. So don't let this happen. Don't let it drop down the harmonic series, but keep it going as you transition. So always top E. And that's a really good one. If you find high notes tricky, this is a really good thing to practice because you get the support of the harmonics. It kind of gives it a little boost. Okay, now very high notes. So that was quite high. As we get up to about G, we can use lots of harmonics. So top G can be played as a low C, a low E flat, and a G, and then the C above that. So there's actually 4 different harmonics you can do for top G, which is, I don't know if anybody else is geeky like me, but I find that really fun, just to go through all those variations. So top G. So what you can hear there is actually a C minor arpeggio. So let's just try that first, and then I'm going to add a challenge to that. So let's try. Okay, so if you start to hear that arpeggio, that's what you're going to sing as well as you finger these. So just try that first. So that's singing and playing those bass notes. But now you're going to keep the top G flute sound as you sing those bass notes. Just have a go. It's quite hard to do straight away, but let's see how you go. Okay, so even I messed that one up. Let's try it again. Okay, so it's hard to find the pitch if you haven't got perfect pitch. But just practice it first. You see that top G wants to fall down. You can't let that happen. You've got to keep it going. So the low C one is particularly difficult. But yeah, have a go at that. And then you can do the same thing on G sharp, A, and B flat, and etc. So you've got 4 harmonic fingerings at your disposal. Okay, so that's the little challenge. Have a go and let me know how you get on. Put something in a comment if you find it easy, if you find it difficult, and all those kind of things. Do you have any questions about what we've done so far or anything about the Moyse book? So we've basically covered the first couple of exercises there, and we can do more next week. Rachel says, long fingering B flat was a challenge with that last one. The A flat major scales, yes. Yeah, I would practice it with both fingerings for B flat, so you get used to that. Usually, if you're playing something like A flat major, you just use the thumb B flat, because you've got so many B flats there and no B naturals. But if you're playing something like G sharp minor, you're going to have A sharp and B natural, so it's good to use the long fingering on that one. That's more practical, so you need to practice both. And of course, you've got the lever B flat as well, so you've got 3. So for example, you could put a variation in where you use this. So you could do G sharp minor. Or you can put a trill in at the end. But that's something you could do just to practice this lever fingering. Singing low notes, okay. Add the high G in is hideous. Wow. So there's your challenge. You have to make it sound beautiful as well. So I didn't make mine sound terribly beautiful, but actually it doesn't really matter because you're working on getting the fullness in the high register. So when you sing a low note and play a high note, you've got all this space and resonance. And so it's a really good thing. You could try going from the top one, so the C, and coming down the scale instead, down the arpeggio. That might be easier actually. So yeah, that's what you could try. We are at our sort of half-hour point. So unless anybody has any more comments or questions, I will stop there and see you next Friday. Sorry, the schedule changed for this week, but I can't do tomorrow. But next week we'll be back to normal. So Friday at 4 p.m, same place, and all the handouts are available on my website. And yeah, have a good weekend or rest of your day, and see you next week.